Welcome to Meet the Candidate with your host, Sulani Madsen. Meet the Candidate is your opportunity to see local candidates and hear about the experiences that have shaped their lives. Meet the Candidate is a nonpartisan community project brought to you by your friends at the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, North by Northwest Digital, We Believe, We Vote, and the McGarry Law Office, the landlord's attorney. Now, here's Sulani.
Well, welcome to Meet the Candidate, and my guest today is Pam Haley, who is a candidate for Spokane Valley City Council, position 5. Welcome,
Yes.
Pam.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's a really simple format. It's just to start with, tell me where you grew up.
I grew up in Spokane. I've tried to leave a couple times, but I love it, so I keep coming back. I went to elementary school briefly on the South Hill, and then I moved to the Valley in junior high, graduated from Central Valley. That was about the point where I tried to leave a couple times, but kept coming back.
Oh, everybody gets out of high school and says, I want to leave town. But
Yes, absolutely. And then I'd go to the other town and go, no, wait, Spokane is a really awesome place. So I came back. I've been with my husband for 32 years. He's wonderful, supports me in every possible way. I was never able to have children, which is probably why I own the daycare, or partially why I own the daycare, but my sister was kind enough to share her daughter and her son with me, so I still got a chance to spend a lot of time with them, and we're very close. That's nice. I actually started out wanting to be a lawyer and ended up at a collection agency instead.
what dissuaded you from being a lawyer then?
I'm not sure. I think just life kind of got in the way. And I was a manager of the collection agency, and I got to know Mike Patton. He was our attorney. Mm-hmm. And he may have been partially what dissuaded me. And I know that, so I helped him with most of his campaigns, and that was how I was involved politically. Then when I decided to become self-employed, I didn't really have time to do any servant leadership at all. I mean, I volunteered with a few community groups and things like that, but starting the business really took up most of my life for the last 20 plus years. So now I'm in a situation where I feel like I have enough time to actually commit, because it takes a lot of time. And so when the appointment was announced, I put my name in to be appointed, and I was appointed last July, and now I'm running for that same position to hopefully retain me.
Okay, so actually serving hasn't dissuaded you from continuing to serve.
No.
Well, you covered where you went to school. Was there some additional training or anything after high school, or was it all on the job?
No. I have my BA is in organizational management with a minor in education. I have an MBA with a minor in human resources and an MSED with a specialization in early childhood, which means I love school, and apparently I'm not afraid of student loan debt.
I'm guessing maybe Eastern?
No, I actually got my MSED from Capella, which is an online school, but a lot of teachers get their master's from there.
Well, there are some fine online education opportunities. In fact, I asked another candidate if she'd learned anything from online education that might apply to how the city of Spokane Valley can better connect with its citizens. So I should probably ask you the same thing. Is anything that you could think of that might help make that connection better?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to be able to set up, we were in a classroom. We were able to talk to people through the computer. It was just like being in a class. Mm-hmm. I would love to be able to do something like that with a city council meeting where people could actually ask questions. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's wonderful because you get people with all different perspectives that maybe can't make it always. A lot of people get off work at 6, and our council meetings start at 6. So it's impossible for them to get there, or they're young families that have to go home, feed the kids, and go to bed. So,
or even for hearings or something. Yeah, I think we're going to see more of that in the coming years.
I hope so.
So I have another one of the questions I like to ask is about a first job, the first time you connected work and money, and what you learned from that.
I was 15 years old. I worked at an A&W in the Valley. I was a car hop, had a blast. I learned that... So I think I learned budgeting to some extent because I was 15 and really impressed with the fact that I had my own job. And so I would think, well, I'll pay for that. And I was getting, I hesitate to even say at that time you could get a training wage. I think I was getting like 64 cents an hour or something. So I can buy that was probably an overstatement in most cases, unless it was an ice cream cone. So I think I learned how to budget and how to define wants and needs and the differences, and what we want isn't always what we need or what we get.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach that lesson to my godchildren with occasionally with some success, but we're still working on it. How about some interesting travel? You said you kept coming back, but where have you been that maybe has taught you something?
Well, I went to LA, and that actually was a much better experience than I've heard other people say that they had in LA. I really liked it. It was just a little too busy and a little too big for me. And it isn't, at the time I still thought I was going to be able to have children, and so I didn't want to raise kids in LA. I wanted to be back in Spokane where the schools were good and things like that. And then I shortly after LA I was in Pittsburgh for a brief period of time, and that taught me that I am not an East Coast girl. We had a garbage trash compactor right outside that we shared with the neighbor. It was an apartment building, but we'd share. And I would go out at the exact same time she would, try to talk to her, and she just refused to talk. She wouldn't say hello. She wouldn't anything. And I'm just so used to Spokane where, everybody's kind of your friend.
So that was just for a few years, and then you came back here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm looking for another question off of the list. Maybe talk something about a school experience. You're teaching, and you have students.
So actually, I'm no longer teaching. I was teaching, and I still go into the classroom periodically. But I have my daycare downtown is licensed for 125 kids.
I kind of think of that as teaching too, though. It is.
It's teaching the teachers maybe.
Well, yeah.
And then my center up north at Parkview is licensed for 100. So mostly now what I'm doing is managing the teachers and trying to, I still get all my hugs and cuddles in with the kids, though, because that's my favorite part. But a lot of administrative stuff, especially with Department of Early Learning and all the regulations. There's a lot of bookkeeping and admin.
Okay, so getting the hugs and cuddles, is there a child that's impressed you with something interesting that they've done in this last few weeks, something that stuck with you?
Yeah, gosh. So I work downtown, which is a high poverty daycare center. We're about 93% state pay. And so we have a lot of homeless kids, a lot of kids that are immigrants, a lot of kids that's parents are in drug and alcohol treatment programs. So we have a lot of really sad stories mixed in with all the happiness. But I was in the Valley I owned the business in the Valley for about 20 years and was probably 1% state pay. It's just a huge difference. So these kids, I used to tell my Valley kids, I could take you to Disneyland and you'd get bored. Because we used to go everywhere. We would go to the park, we'd go to the lake, we'd go anywhere they wanted to go, we could go. And I come downtown and it's like I gave this little boy, he said he was hungry, and I said, okay, and I left the classroom and came back with a bunch of bananas for the kids and some milk, and he was like, thank you, no one has ever done anything this nice for me before in my life. And this is an 8-year-old little boy that you would not expect to say anything like that to anybody. Just so sweet, and they appreciate everything you do, and I'm hopefully making an impact in their lives.
Well, I'm coming up close to our closing, and I'll let you have that last minute for answer the question. Why should people vote for Pam Haley for Spokane Valley City Council, position 5?
Well, I think I'm a pretty good representative of the citizens of Spokane Valley. I am very conservative. Very pro-life. Realize that doesn't have anything to do with city council, but I think it tells you about my beliefs, my core beliefs. And I believe that fits in with the citizens of the Valley. I'm passionate about the city of Spokane Valley, very passionate. I want it to succeed. We are now the 10th largest city in Washington, and we're still growing, and I want to bring in businesses and let the kids who graduate from high school maybe stay with a decent paying job instead of going to LA and Pittsburgh.
Okay. We'll keep the kids at home instead of LA and Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So glad you could come today, Pam, and good luck with your campaign.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching Meet the Candidate. Spokane Talks Online thanks our community-minded partners at Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, North by Northwest Digital, We Believe, We Vote, and the McGarry Law Office, the landlord's attorney, for helping make Meet the Candidate possible.